Haujakosea kabisa. It's a TGIF. Kwa jina naitwa Evans Bukuku.
Na mimi hapa naitwa Bobby Mongi.
Tuko peke yetu leo hii. Tuko na mtaalamu ambao unamfahamu sana. Yeye anaitwa Deo Kilawe. Deo, habari za asubuhi?
Salama sana. Nisikia furaha kuwepo hapa.
Karibu sana, karibu sana.
I know the leadership awards are just around the corner.
Yes, of course.
Are you looking excited? Are you excited?
Yes, I'm super excited that this year is going to be one of the best awards in Africa region.
Yes, the top 100 executive awards?
Yes, top 100 executive.
That happens next week on Friday.
Yes.
Tarehe 3 November itakuwa.
Yes.
So if you don't know about Deo, basically, in terms of creating avenues, platforms, networking opportunities that allow the executives to excel and be recognized for their excellence, that is kind of a small summary of what executive awards are. Lakini kwa haraka tu, in your own words, what is the top 100 executive awards?
Top 100 executive awards ni professional awards ambazo tuna recognize professionals mbalimbali ambao wanaofanya kazi vizuri, na wajua hamna kitu muhimu sana duniani kama ku appreciate kwamba kazi nzuri ambayo ilifanyika. Kwa hiyo kwa mwaka tunafanya mwezi wa 11 kwa ajili ya ku appreciate CEOs na head of department, na pia sasa hivi mwaka huu tuna wale future executive, wale ambao tayari sio head of department wala sio CEO, lakini wana future ya kuwa wanafanya vizuri, lakini tabidi tu recognize kama the future executive to watch. Kwa hiyo it's kind of a celebration ya tunasema ni celebration ya kusherekea ile excellence ya watu ambao wamekuwa na deliver kwenye kazi kipindi chote cha mwaka.
Hapo unaongezea how to create a funnel for succession planning which is visible, which is measurable, and you see these are the guys to watch out for. A bit like the academies of football and other sports. And we also have with us in the studio, all the way from South Africa, he's an author, he's an advisor, he's an advocate for youth employment. So if you're there and you're figuring out what next steps to take, listen very carefully. He's also a strategic builder of cooperatives and a global activist for workplace training. All of this points towards excellence in the executive space. He's called Thamasanqa
Maqubel.
That one.
Yes.
Thank you.
I got it right?
You got it right.
Maqubel.
Sawubona. Mpela man, eh?
Sawubona kunjani?
Ngikona.
Skona. Kunjani mfowethu?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
You're most welcome.
Welcome to Tanzania.
Let me ask you straight off the bat. One of the challenges, especially Tanzania is just one of many countries that as soon as someone finishes off the tertiary education, like the degree, certificate, the next step for many ends up in this long uphill task of moving to that first job, that first employment, that first employment opportunity. And where do you see maybe that challenge coming from, and how do, through your experience of over 25 years in the space, where do you see that kind of gap being diminished, and what do you think is the cause?
Thanks to you, and thanks to Mr. Dio and his business, Eastern Consulting, for creating a platform to be able to share the best practices that I've had for over the past 26 years, implementing programs, strategies, and techniques in South Africa to build a strong and vibrant graduate empowerment program. And what we see in Tanzania is to work with executives, and I'm delighted that since I've been here a day before yesterday, we've had a very successful CEO roundtable and CEO executive coaching sessions. Companies like your Colorflex, Smiles Cars Rental, your HR World,
yes,
and just to mention a few, and they've come aboard, their CEOs, their directors, and even your Hazina Sacco, to say we want to be the best, not only for Tanzania but for the rest of the continent and the world. And our message to the youth, to the government of Tanzania, is that we've got to invest in the youth. But before we invest in the youth, we've got to mobilize the executive resources.
Yes.
Because I tell you, in South Africa, there's over 20 billion rand that is invested
by the government
towards youth empowerment and youth employment.
By the government?
By the government. And what we do as a South African Council for Graduates,
Yes.
we then mobilize the collateral from the private sector. So that is a mission and a vision we have together with Eastern Star Consulting to build Tanzania Council for Graduates, where we can then mobilize the business executives to see the merit of investing in the youth and help them. I like what you said, talking about succession planning. We've got to do talent recognition and build it up to make sure that Tanzanian companies become resilient and they go beyond Tanzania and enter other markets.
We've spoken about recognizing talent and creating that platform, and also on the other end of that funnel, having executives who are more than willing to see the importance and welcome the new additions into the stream. When it comes to the caliber of those who go through this stream, how do you see us increasing our caliber status so we can be approachable anywhere in the world?
We've got to do three things. Number one, the university rankings. University rankings have largely been focusing on the faculty, the research, and now we're saying it's more important to look at the employability of the alumni. And to prepare alumni employability, we've got to make sure we invest in what we call vacation work for students. We've got to have a strong, structured internship programs that when they finish university, then they can spend 12, 24, 36 months in industry. So industry exposure is very extremely important. And the third element then is to mobilize resources and make sure that there are resources available from the government, from the private sector, to enable these young people that as they do workplace training, they get paid. You cannot prepare someone for employment, therefore you just get them to volunteer. Get them paid so they can understand what a payslip looks like. They can also understand what do you do with your salary. And it doesn't end there though. We want to make sure that majority of students that come from universities of Tanzania, out of the colleges, also become entrepreneurial in their mindset and also start their businesses while on campus.
The government right now of Tanzania is actually currently underway to adjust the syllabus programs, and they're still taking in the final thoughts and recollections from various stakeholders. So they're very serious when it comes to having tangible skills upon leaving the educational system, regardless of the status, whether it's secondary or tertiary. Now, you've been a counselor, you've been an advisor on presidential levels in South Africa. If you were to have the ear of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan here to focus one specific area, what would that be?
Thank you. For us, it would really be entrepreneurship and building competency levels. Competency levels have to be adjusted to, because when you have a competent person, they can work anywhere else in the world. When you talk to entrepreneurship, there are two stratas. The entrepreneurship that starts with an I, those are people that build innovations within existing structures. And I think Microsoft, HP, Apple has been able to show the world through Silicon Valley programs what it can be done. And then the second entrepreneurship is the one that starts with an E. These are people that don't even need to go and work when they finish university. They can go while they are still studying, start their own businesses. But our magic word is, can universities and colleges in Tanzania set aside at least 30% of their budget to procure from their own students? And in that way, that is where you have Eastern Star Consulting coming on board, because through the CEO Roundtable, through the African Company of the Year Awards, all of these begins to do what a mind shift to say Tanzania is open for business, but not only for local business, for export business going forward.
Wow, okay. I would like to go back to the students in terms of not just the skill level now. This is now personal character traits, which are very attractive to those looking to hire. Beforehand was just the papers and maybe psychometric tests, etc. But now, what about the character profile? For example, issues such as integrity, in terms of that temperament of having that vision and being a team player. Which specific skills are important right now and attractive to potential employers?
There are 7 of them. that are very critical. Various and several universities across the world, they've come up with these graduate attributes.
Yes, which are?
Number one is the grit.
Great.
Yeah. Number two is resilience. Number three is knowledge of yourself. Do you know yourself?
What am I capable
You know?
of?
Yes. And then number three is awareness of others. Are you aware of others and your environment? And number five is the ability to promote yourself, the ability to promote your organization, so become a spokesperson. Every intern, every graduate, every student is an ambassador. Number six, do you have a profile? Beyond a resume or a CV, do you have a profile as a student, as a graduate from a college or university? Your profile, does it tell us what you are capable of doing? We don't want to know what you know, we want to know what you can do. And then number seven is the projection of the technical acumen and highlights of your career success. And it should not be the fact that you've got 10-year work experience. Even when you have 6 months work experience, are you able to package it in such a way that it is sellable to the next person and you are able to project portable skills, competencies, and career highlights of the successes that you've been able to achieve? And that is what we're looking for as employers. And I spend more time coaching executives and CEOs, and I believe they have a clear distinction of who they want. And we want to make sure that the students, the graduates in Tanzania, become ready while at university. And finally, perhaps this is important to touch base on, dealing and helping lecturers, because they are the important conduit upon which these students go through. So your lecturers, professors, they need to have a clear understanding and exposure to industry.
Thank you, Thamasanqa. And there's so much you have to share with us. Of course, time doesn't allow at the moment. You are a turnaround specialist. I know you right now you're heading for a session somewhere to talk to some serious executives. I wish you all the best in your game-changing sessions. And of course, Dale, and I hope maybe one day you'll be back also to tell us about the before and after now, you know, after the sessions.
Definitely, I'll be back next week. So that we can then be able to complete this. We look forward. We want to make sure that the CEO roundtable in Tanzania becomes the top and the best. We want to make sure that top 100 companies in Tanzania, they take up membership of this. And next, it's also then the program that deals and build the next CEO. Because you cannot build the next CEO today for today. You got to build it earlier. So we've got a 12-month program, which a very good subscription and membership benefits. So if people can take up and go through the CEO Roundtable website, visit Eastern Star website, Eastern Star Consulting website to get more information. I'll be here next week. I look forward. Come for the awards. People must join in, must buy the tickets, because we look forward. We're going to be an exciting. I'll be addressing the awards as well myself. We look forward. And after that, I'll be dashing off to Ireland, because we're making sure that we're building programs that are world-class, not just African.
Thank you.
Such positive vibes. Thank you so much.
Tamasanqa Maqubel. The first one I can't pronounce, but that's the surname I can pronounce.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure to have you, and we wish you all the best.
I'll talk with you offline about succession planning in government levels. All right?
Thank you. Thanks to Mgeni FM.
Thank you so
very
much.
I salute.
It was a pleasure to have you. Ikiwa imetimia saa 2 kasoro dakika 9, endelea kusikiliza Big City Breakfast ya Mgeni FM. Ifikapo saa 2 utapata dunduliza leo, dondoo za kifedha, lakini kwa sasa let's take a short commercial break and we will be back.
A big thank you of course to sponsors. Asante sana. Tunasema nani? Tunasema NMB Fantasy League. Njia kwenda Ulaya ipo kabisa, iko wazi.
Go na NMB Fantasy League.
Acha kulaumu kwa nini timu yako haijashinda leo. Panga kwenye safu yako safi kabisa ya wakali wa kukiputa kila wiki. Na kila game week mshiriki mwenye timu yenye points nyingi zaidi anapata shilingi 50,000. Kumbuka hii inaitwa NMB Fantasy League au go na NMB Fantasy League. Wafuate kabisa Instagram, wafuate Facebook.
Utapata link ukiingia huko kwenye Facebook na Instagram, utapata link ambayo itakuwezesha wewe kuunda timu yako.
Kuna pesa nyingi sana mwisho wa msimu kutolewa by the way.
Oh yes.
Na mshindi wa kwanza kabisa anaenda anaenda Ulaya kwa siku 5, ikiwa ni fursa ya kushuhudia mechi moja chaguo lake Premier League 2024-2025.
Yani unasafiri kwa raha kabisa, gharama zote ziko zimelipiwa, na kwenda kushuhudia mechi yako yoyote utakayochagua msimu wa 2024-2025. Go na NMB Fantasy League, twende Ulaya bwana.
Lakini vile kumbuka ndugu zetu kutoka wapi?
Airtel wanakuambia kwamba hivi sasa unaweza kutuma na kupokea pesa barani Afrika kwa gharama zile kama kufanya hivyo ukiwa nchini Tanzania. Yani hakuna mipaka wala usumbufu. Una shida ya kupokea ama kutuma pesa kwenda sehemu gani barani Afrika? Usiwaze, kwa sababu Airtel Money have got you. Pokea ama tuma pesa kwa wapendwa wako na washirika wako kibiashara kote barani Afrika bila kuhofia ada wala gharama za kubadili ama kuhamisha fedha. Fanya yote haya kwa gharama za hapa nyumbani. Airtel, a reason to believe. Ni saa 2:07. Endelea kusikiliza Mjini FM 92.5, kwetu ni kwako.
Hiki chakula ni kitamu sana.